Hi, in this video I will show you how to reuse materials from a previous build. It doesn't have to be PscgBuildOS, it could be. I'll show you how the structure is laid out, what are some of the environment variables that you need to do. I'll give you some comments on how you can extend it. I sort of apologize. There are tons of mechanisms for it. It's written also in the README file that I'm using professionally, let's say. Like taking care of Android boot images, like taking care of all kind of U-boot and other kinds of UEFI and actually some other bootloaders and all kind of other mechanisms that are being used, including reusing ext4 images, ButterFS images, and so on. But porting them would take me forever because some of the most of the features are parts of projects that I can not just take as is, even though I wrote everything completely. And I just want to publish it, so I'll just put it like this. It's educational, I'll see how it is, and then I'll see how the feedback is. So the idea in general, when doing it, is to save time on building. So that's what I'm going to do. I made like a nice wrapper script here, and that it's called, this is like what I'm running it, so I'll just run it. I'll run it on another terminal. And while we're at it, I'm going to look at this. I already, when I built like for, I think for S390, maybe also for Spark, I made another video. So here, instead of like building a busybox, I added a couple of more things. And I am reusing materials that I copied from that busybox build. In addition to it, I untarred an Alpine rootfs that I took like from their website. Actually, the build system can also build it, but I just wanted to show an example. And I just took the busybox build and hooked it up with that root file system. And I'm not building anything. This is why config build kernel, build kernel modules, RAM disk, bootloader, module prepare, it wouldn't know it without the kernel. And this example just probably needs to get, I probably need to remove it from the main build system, but I don't know. I just don't do them. Instead, I am just going to use config distro prebuild image materials work dir. And if this exists, then there is a magic that uses well-known folders under it. This is how it's going to work. So in addition to it, there is like a little trick here. You can either select config BSPQMU storage device size megabyte in order to make sure that the image size is big enough. Why? Because if you use like the RAM disk or another type of flasher that uses like the same logic as what I prepared there, and then it has like a partition definitions. Now you're using materials. Who told you that the RAM disk that you are running, that the flasher that you are running, has the definitions that you thought of like in build time? So you need to reserve space if you pre-create like an image, like in the case of QEMU. This also works on real devices, but in the case of QEMU, we have the scripts that also create like the storage image. Of course, we can just like DT. So this is one way to do it with the config BSP QEMU storage device size MIB. This means 2 gigs more or less, give or take. And another way would be to use a partition definition file that it's created as part of like a RAM disk, okay? So what I did, I copied like the directory structure and I just put it here and I made it under like TMP PSCG Alpinos just like for fun to be very clear that it uses the same constructs as our build per se. Now, if we do not rebuild from scratch and we want to make a little change in something that we built, we can just change like the files on the fly, like some of the files. But then perhaps we will have, when we do like the root effect, configuration mismatches and so on. I showed it in one of the videos. So it is possible, but the nice thing about like the reusing is that we can copy each try to another place and it doesn't interact with like the real build in case we want to rebuild it and after we have learned with our mechanism, but it's really useful for other things as I mentioned. So that's what I built. At the end of it, it will run like this QEMU. I set the partition files here, and we have like this nice, we will have, this is like the installer that I have. It's not so happy about itself for a good reason. And the good reason is that I did not wait for the installable. So let's do that. Wait for removable media. I could also run a live CD. I showed how to do it in some of the previous videos. But now it will install. It's relatively short. You didn't say it, but someone said flashing A only. It will finish. It will give me like a warning. We'll play like a nice sound here, and then gives like the note that will tell me, hey, the removable media is in. So I'll go here and I'll boot it. So this is it. And you know what? Just for fun, I will add some. I didn't specify. I think that okay. I'm sure that like in this root file system, I did not specify the HVC console. So if I want to do that, let's see where I have socket. Why can't I find it? There it is. If I want to do that and open like another terminal, I don't really have anything working here. Okay. But if I do echo hello into dev HVC 0, then I will, this df blah blah, it's something that I wrote, okay? But I do, let's say just hello, then I will get hello. So let's go ahead and add this change and also add another change that is simpler, like the change will be setting like the password to be, let's set it so that there is no password for the login. So these things will be very easily observable. Let's also see, let's cheat here. I mean, I used the PscgOS release, but let's do the OS release and say name. Okay, so I'll do it from my changes. Okay, so this is what I have here. Nice, we're happy, we're good. Now, I took my materials from here and I'll show you how it's constructed. I will modify something and then I'll change it. So if I go to temp whatever stamp full bar here, I have these nice things. So it looks a lot like my installables because actually the installables are being copied from there, except for the root file system that is being packed. So look what we have. The boot fat, this would be like for creating the storage, so on. This would go like in the fat partition. Then on the images, we can of course have more, but I put here like the system. This is being packed. I have another method that also take like an image device or like a tarball and makes everything nicely work. But the main reason for me to do this kind of like reusing material is to actually make changes. So I did not incorporate it in the build as it's more things to explain and maybe I will add it later. So this is like the root file system partition that is getting packed and these are like the overlays. If I want to have modules, I just took it from the other, from the busyboxos easy. So I will have modules if I want to, which is pretty nice. I can just modify things, take the Linux kernel, rebuild like a modules, and then have that here. I could also have OTA if I wanted to. So these are how things work. So because we know this, we can go to installables, ext images, system, and yes, that's how I put it. I will do chroot to this place. I'm in the chroot and I have like a QEMU so I can do that. And I will add it. I mean, I don't mind. It's something that I just like try. But I say like the amazing blah 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 fubao. Wow. Okay. And we'll also do hello there. Okay, so what I'll also do, I'll get rid of the root password. Great. So now, like, if you look at this, then it's like pretty much empty. If you look, I should have shown it before probably. Then it's also doesn't show anything. If I rerun the previous one, then I will see other things. I'll show you in a jiffy. And I think that's enough. I mean, okay, it's Alpine uses busybox essentially, and it uses their RC system. So I'll take any tab, and here I will put TTY, no, HVC 0, and I will just run here bin sh. So this will be rootless login. So that's what I'm going to do. Now let's see, I'm running like the previous system that I have. I need to put the password here. And if I do like etc shadow, then you can see that it has a password, okay? And if I look at etc password, then the root should be somewhere. There it is, okay? But that's the important thing that we got. So now, after doing this, I will rebuild my file system. Let's just make sure I'm not in the middle of anything. Excellent. I'll get out of the chroot. I don't really have to. I'm reusing it. Look how fast it will be. The only thing that will not be like super, super, super fast will be like to compressing it like for an installer. And we could actually get along without it, but that's how the mechanism is made to be like a cheaper network. And it's still super fast. I will now uh, reinstall it. I'll just do the same thing. It will be super fast. It will be super easy. It will give me time to drink, which is great. Awesome. So it's finished. And now I'll run it. And I'll get to this HPC console. And I have my login here, and I have my login here. Now, the reason I have my login, so okay, now, sorry. So I have my login. So something didn't catch in this change. So that's not what I had in mind. And the reason for that is probably that I needed to clean up what was previously there. So I need to, actually this was supposed to just work. What did I miss here? So let's see. So in order to see what was missing here, we need to go and look at our experimentation. Maybe we modified something that is like in the wrong place. Maybe we didn't modify. So the etc issue, we changed it for sure. Okay. This is like the file system that we wanted to build. Fine. Okay. And I will now go to the folders that we actually wanted to build and see what's going on there. So in the logs, when we build, we have comments. Okay. And so in this particular case, we have all kind of comments. Your previous materials is ta 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 ta, and it is allowed. You may want to check that you really wanted to check it to do it. So we did want to do it. It is true. And here we have the problem. So it is unpacking a tarball. It is unpacking a tarball here. So this is not what we had in mind. So let's see why it is. And we can see that there is rootfs prepass and rootfs and so on and so forth. So something with our environment file is just not it. Okay. So let's go ahead. This was the previous build, I think. but maybe I'm mistaken. Okay, this is rootfs, It still does it. So I'm going to go to my configuration file. I will restart no, that's not what I want to do. Ah, of course, I think I built from another place. This is most likely the reason. But you know what? I'll just do the wrapper here. I will check the situation with the wrapper here. What I need is to have rootfs false. This is the important task. So this is what was missing here, okay? I redid the rootfs. So probably I just cut something without meaning, or I just didn't do it before. It's also possible. But if I now cancel the build task of the rootfs, then we will not have these things. So I will now reuse the example. And now there is something else that does not work. It says like, hey, your pre-built materials or temp, whatever, ext4 images system does not exist. Now, the reason for this is that this mechanism has existed like for a while, and I actually changed some things to support like a different system image per distro. So I will just change it in the code. Let's see what we have and let's see what we really have. So it is expecting temp whatever stamp full bar installables ext4 images. So far so good. And then there is like the distro, the build name, and then there is system. So let's fix that. So as the README says, and also like the file itself, there is between the ext4 images and the system, there is a distro identifier name. So this is what I would want to change for like the pre-built installables system dir. So let me do just that. So it's in the distro reuse materials build config. Let's hope the distro identifier name is properly exported. It should be, and if not, we'll fix it. And that should do it. Let me try and rebuild now. This already looks better, and we do not see like anything about like the root effects. It just say, hey, your pre-built materials is blah 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 blah. Did you really mean it? And yes, I did mean it. So now it finished running. Let's see if we're happy or not about it. I will wait for movable media and install it. And we're good. And now I will run it. And now we'll also connect an HPC. So here it is, a loader. This is excellent, okay? I will also connect the HPC. And it's not giving me anything allegedly, but I just ran bash instead of it. So I think if I do enter, yeah, then it will be happy, okay? So there it is. The problem here is that it opened automatically like another terminal here. So it doesn't really matter. I'll just fix like the init tab. Maybe there was HTTP 0 already there, or maybe because it is the console. But here, if I go ahead connect with root, I don't need to put like a root pass system. I don't need to put a root password. So it's fine. It's nice. Yes, I actually added because I because I added it myself. So yeah, that's not what I had in mind. This is the reason we had like the get ETY. If I fix that, then we'll be fine. So just for fun, I'll reboot, and woohoo, we fixed like a lot of problems, which is very nice. So console goes here also because of like the boot param, and then I get shell automatically, and everybody's happy. So what we saw here was essentially the way of reusing build materials. No AI, no nothing, and like the build flow would be something like that. Like we from the main build distro of Linux, we call like build distro reuse material wrapper, and calls init-env and reuse build materials. And according to build tasks, then it will either use per build or not. In order to use your per build, you need to disable the respective build task. And because it's like short, I actually put everything like in the code here, but what I changed there, I also need to change here. So in the README file. So yeah, so now it's perfect. I mean, I will copy paste for myself. You can look like a little bit in the video like what's going on. And the estimation would be like setting like to a like the config file for image or estimation. You don't have to use it. You can just instead use BSP QEMU storage device size snip. And this allows you to reuse materials, build like super fast. If you want, you can just after like building super fast, you can use the system image is like the installer image, and it's pretty decent. It's solid. It works great. I find it extremely useful. I think my students find it extremely useful, and I believe my customers have found it useful because people are surprised how I'm doing things. They say like fast, and my answer is that I have tools. So yeah, because it happened it here, we also have like the terminal. If I wanted this Alpine, but I could go and install like DRM stuff and be happy about it. Could do sounds. Yeah, it's pretty nice. This is like a display. You can see like we have like the penguin here, so I could do I don't know cut u random into the because I built it out of convenience for with config buffer emulation. So it's nice, it works, and it's very good. And one last thing, and for this you have like the live CD parameters that actually copy like from there. And after building, you can like put it under TMP, but like if you build like full systems with graphics, then they can explode your RAM. So I call like temp by persistent under like something that is persistent here. And essentially we could go ahead, take the system image here from this would come into like the installer, okay? And this is after it was packed, and we can use it as a live CD. So just for fun, I mean there are parameters for it. I don't always remember them, and I just know that okay, disable the removable media, use storage device as something else, not as like the default storage device, and you're done. So we could do something like this. Let's do CP system EMG temp live CD just for fun, okay? And this will not have. This is just like the system image without overlays and stuff like that. And let's go ahead and write it. So if I do, if I do a run QEMU again and just dash D, it will not run. It will just show the files, and I will see what are the storage device parameters. So I will not wait for removable media, and then it will not be considered. And then I need to look for some VirtIO devices, eMMC disks. This is what I'm looking for. This is the drive ID. Yeah, so I need to do a config EMC storage or something like that. I actually don't even remember, so I'll just, it's written of course somewhere. So I'll just edit it. Storage params EMC 0. So there is, okay, EMC image file. It's okay, there is EMC image file. I think this is what I need to put here, I think. or removable param 0, or I don't know what. So let's do equals temp live cd, and maybe this will work for me. So something is booting, which is fine. It cannot mount OTA state here, which is fine. And these errors mean because in the run disk also manage like OTA recovery, all kind of things like that. And I log in and it just works. And if I do like fdisk-l, that's the only thing I have, like the image that I modified or that I have done. So let's say that I do touch hello. Let's go here. Touch hello full bar from target. Yeah. Let's delete the previous one. Now that it matters. And I do sync and I'll do shutdown. No shutdown. Why? Okay. And let's say that I do this and I go like to temp and I do make dir blah and I do sudo mount live cd image that ro and blah, and I go to blah, I will see my file. Okay. And I probably did do sync like before doing that, but I modified like the live image itself. There is no doubt about it, and everything is fine. So this wraps it up. And what we covered here was how to actually use like the build system to create removable, to reuse data, which is super, super, super useful from the reasons I mentioned. And I lost the terminal here. I want to show something more, but this is pretty good, pretty decent. We should be happy with what we achieved so far. So hooray and yay. So what I wanted to show, actually, the only thing I didn't show was what I actually ran like for the command. So I took the exact same file, I added like this environment variable. That's what I added. I exported everything. And then I just did like demo materials. We're using long arc and build Alpine OS, which built on long arc. It was pretty much like the busybox one. So I used the exact same variables for everything, and I just use config distro PscG alpinos. So that's what I've done, and it works. You can reuse things like this, both minor systems and huge systems. You just need to be mindful of the size of the storage device that you want. So thank you for watching.